All right, welcome to another one from the Outdoor Analyst. Today I've got a little bit different one for you. We are out here at the cabin, and I'm going to call these the cabin reviews for tools that I think are really just meant for out here for the family and that are going to stay out here and get used the most. And I'll probably have few reviews like this because usually I'm out here with the family doing an all-nighter tonight just by myself, which is wonderful. And I've spent the whole day Dutch oven cooking with the family, which has been a blast. And ironically, out here, none of us brought a real axe. So yet again, just putting my Northman hatchet to the test. But before we dive in, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, I am a small channel, and every little subscribe really does help the channel out a whole lot. And leave some comments down below, especially when it comes to hatchets and axes. I'm not going to have a lot of comparisons because this is the only axe that I brought with me today. This is the Northmen Rangers Hatchet, and this thing is phenomenal. I've had this for the whole year pretty much. It is a 1.5 pound head, 16 inches long, and it is absolutely next level, screaming sharp, awesome. As you can see on the profile here, it has a nice head that is not only just good for chopping, because it gets down very thin on here, almost Scandi-esque, but it's definitely a convex edge on here. But it also splits pretty darn well too. And for a 1.5 pound head with about a 4-inch bevel on, well, bit on here, it's pretty immaculate, to be honest with it. And yeah, it's pretty darn dirty. I've had a very busy day with it and haven't had time to clean it up. I just figured this is the perfect time to talk about such a beautiful piece of work. Now, it's kind of fun that it has who actually did everything on this. The head was done by Marquis Lipins. I don't know. I have no idea if that's his real name. Mr. Lipins, or how you pronounce it, is probably the best axe head forger I have ever had the pleasure of using tools from. Absolutely insane. And this one's fairly new from the year. Sheath was done by Miss Skilna, and Mr. Bormanis did the handle. The handle is incredibly well done. Very nice fitting to the head. Not the most perfect I've ever seen, but pretty darn close. The grain on here is phenomenal. It is absolutely perfectly straight in every single way. And honestly, the handle on here, the shape is excellent for one-handed use. It's also excellent for two-handed use, which I did a lot today. I was not expecting to use this hatchet as much as I did today. I went through an entire dead standing 3.5-inch tree, essentially. Just bucked the entire thing up today, and that was a good start for getting coals ready for our Dutch ovens, which I was not planning on doing. But this thing, yet again, just performed way over its class. Like, people were shocked. They're like, "You're doing this with a hatchet? You just took an entire tree out in like 10 minutes. Yeah, I did. I took her down, dead standing, and then bucked the entire thing up in about 10 minutes. I don't know what that would be. 10 different almost 10 different pieces. Granted, you know, I was a little winded by the end of that, without a doubt, but that was an incredible start to get the fire going and really getting those coals burning. And it just it's lovely to have a piece like this that can snap through and buck up trees that fast. That's where hatchets absolutely just dominate. Now, you've seen me use one of my other favorite hatchets around is honestly a Hoffman mini camp axe. It is a 1.25 pound head, same length, but it's a little smaller. It does have some benefits over this. I wish I had it here to show, but I left it at home. And the difference on that one is that it doesn't have this really big protruding section right there. It does have it, but it's not as large. So for this, it actually is not comfortable to choke up and do feather sticks. Can I do it? Yeah, but I'm getting nailed. I'm really getting nailed in in the palm by this thing. It's a little unfortunate how that happened. I wish this was down just a little bit more or up a little higher. Either way, it's in the way for my hand. Can I do it? Yes. Does this still work fine for carving spoons? Yeah, it really does. But I really wish for feather sticking, it was a little up there. Otherwise, this would be the most perfect hatchet in the world. If I could feather with this just as well as I do with the Hoffman, it would be absolutely perfect, because I do love the performance that I get from the 1.5-pound head. It actually really makes a big difference. I think it's excellent. 16-inch axe, 1.5-pound head is perfection. And the steel is 1066 on here. It is fantastic. I went through nothing but hardwoods today. And obviously I've been pretty much doing nothing but hardwoods with this through most of its life. Now, it's definitely done some pine. Every now and then we'll get a good pine tree, which is just heaven on earth for everything that we do. It's so easy to deal with pine or spruce or any of that. It's just so soft in comparison to oak, maple, or walnut. It's just nuts. So I really do love when we see that. We have a lot of maple up here too, which isn't the end of the world, but it's got some toughness to it, and can be really stringy too, which is kind of nuts. A lot of stuff is stringy up here, which is just fun. But this thing is just, it's just phenomenal, and I do enjoy the mask that comes with it. It is probably my favorite mask, has always been from Hoffman. They just use buffalo leather. This is very thick leather as well. I don't think it might be buffalo, not really sure. It's very thick. It's almost on the same exact quality. I think I just like maybe I just like Hoffman a hair bit more, but this is top notch. Absolutely not disappointed with it in any way, shape, or form. It does work very, very well. Keeps it safe. And then I just use like a Wiseman trading belt loop all the time with this sucker. It is a perfect setup for me. This is how I really, really like it. Keeps it safe, keeps it out of the way, and this thing is just a beast. It is my favorite hatchet, I believe, of all time. I think even though it's not the perfect featherer, it does perform so well that I just love it. I just absolutely love it. I think it's incredibly hard to beat. For the money, I'm not going to say that. For the money, obviously, I'm going to tell you to go get a council tool. If you're on the budget, you can get great steel. You can get awesome just hangings from council tool. They've got, I'll have some links down below, honestly, for those. That'll be much less expensive. But if you want the wall hanging piece, essentially, that you go out and you use, and it is immaculate. Because trust me, the entire family was like, dang, that looks pretty sharp. People who had no idea what was happening were darn impressed just by the looks. And obviously they didn't know to actually be impressed by the performance, to be honest with you. But everybody who knew what they were doing were like, holy crap, didn't that just a hatchet? Like, yeah, just a hatchet. But got a good edge on it, doesn't it? And yes, and it was just absolutely going to Pound Town today, which is fun. It's fun to do it with the whole family and actually have people see tools that excel at what they do, and kind of gain the respect that they do as well. So Northmen Guild is exceptional. I think the fact that they have Mr. Lipens making the heads over there is the best thing they could ever do. Obviously, I think whoever's doing the sheaths and the handling is exquisite as well. They're better than Lamica in my mind. It is a better put together axe than my Lamica Light Forest axe, even though same forger on the head, just a different setup. Both incredible companies. I think Northman is the best out there that I've met so far as putting work together. I really would love one of their larger axes. It's not in the budget right now. At some point down the road, if I sell enough stuff, probably, yeah, I might pick up a felling axe from them. And that would probably, honestly, finish off my axe collection, to be honest with you. Because this pretty much dominates my hatchet world now. I think it's gone a little over the mini camper just because I like the performance of this. But there are times to use, smaller hatchets as well. Like I also have the Stiora Oxo or whatever, the large hunting axe from Kiraswando. Very cool axe. It's a much smaller axe that I actually kind of like taking to more, bonfires with different types with people that I don't know as well, because it's a much more beautiful axe. It's smaller and doesn't freak people out nearly as much. Not that this does. This is just freaking amazing. But there are times and places for different tools, that's for sure. For actually getting work done around the property and just having something that can outperform anything that I have. Yeah, it's the Northmen Rangers Hatchet. It's incredible. It really is. I have nothing but positive things to say. Even though it doesn't feather, it does everything else so well, and I generally... feathering is not something I normally do with an axe. I only do it for just kicks and giggles, literally. In reality, I'm always going to have a knife with me if I have an axe, or have a hatchet, to be honest with you. So that really doesn't pester me. If you're wondering why, like, hey, I thought you loved feathering with hatchets. I do, but I honestly just don't do it that often, or if I do, it's more of literally a joke, or I can do it because I can, not because I need to or want to. I think it's fun. I still enjoy feathering with knives more, so keep that in mind as well. That's why I'm essentially giving this a pass in that area, because it doesn't really matter to me. Now, if it matters to you, just know that this is probably not the feathering hatchet. They have some other ones that are, I'm sure, set up for it for sure. Just not going to be this one. All right, I hope this was fun. Hope you learned something. This is just the coolest tool. It's going to hang out here pretty much forever. It is definitely a cabin workhorse. I plan on making sure that it's around the property always so that the family can use it, and it is excellent. Now I need to go clean this up, which is my next task. So I will catch y'all on the next one. Leave some comments down below of your favorite axes as well. If there's anything out there that you think actually rivals Northman, let me know. I really do. I'm interested. I always want to know what is honestly kind of like the best out there, because I only know my own experience. I know there's some really cool brands. I love Hoffman stuff. I love Council Tool. I love Northman. Even Kirschwando is pretty darn sweet, to be honest with you, even though they're a little crazy. So the more the merrier when it comes to information. You can't not be positive by having more info that's out there. All right, catch you on the next one.